I reject outright the socially approved models for men. Socially approved models, fuck it, fuck them. Total bullshit, not interested, okay? What are the socially approved models? Basically, there's two in the modern world. One of them is the good husband, right? The doting husband, okay? The provider, yeah? You want to be a provider, that's what we want to be as men, providers. Only problem is, what you have to provide isn't just food and shelter, yeah? You have to literally immolate yourself on the fucking altar of this bullshit, right? You have to work 70 hours a week, 60 hours a week, so that your woman can play house, yeah? And let's face it, most people working those kind of hours, they're not living their passion, right? They're grinding their ass off so that their woman can play house. Yeah, so, you know, the provider, protector, husband role in the West, fuck off. Fuck right off. Not interested. Because what you get for that sacrifice, first of all, the sacrifice is not even worth it anyway. But what you get for that sacrifice is usually an ungrateful, spoiled woman who's, you know, just average. Not even worth it, bruv. Not worth it. There's a lot of guys who've got such low self-esteem they think it is, but it's not. So I reject that outright. I also reject, probably even more strongly, the supportive boyfriend, supportive husband role. Supportive to what? Supportive to what? Fuck off. Not interested at all. Absolutely not interested. And you know guys that live like this, and girls who are like, oh, my boyfriend really supports me. It's like, yeah, that's why you're mentally ill. Yeah, in most cases. Spoiled, mentally ill idiots. So what's so wrong with that role? First of all, think about what you're actually supporting, which is usually fairly incoherent. Maybe it's just someone working at a corporation. And honestly, these girls have a lot of breakdowns, man. I've got friends and stuff like this who, you know, ex-girlfriends and stuff. A lot of these corpo girls are just one breakdown after the next. It's like, you don't need a boyfriend, you need a psychotherapist, man. So, and these are people who you think are put together. You realize they're not at all, in the slightest, right? So supportive boyfriend, fuck off, that's bullshit. Provider, historically that might have been okay, but nowadays it's too expensive, it's not worth it. Screw those two things. So what are some good roles for the modern guy? What are some good, attractive, inspiring roles these days? What is going on here? Let me just get through this section. I don't want to give these people a heart attack. So what are some good, inspiring roles? Weird. Number one, seducer, Lothario, playboy. Number one, classic role. We all know what that role is, but it's a good role because A, it takes some skill to actually get good at that. B, you get a lot of benefits and you get no real responsibility. And if you're honest and, you know, open and brutal about it, there you go. You get the enjoyment, but you don't have all the bullshit. Like, I'm not opposed to responsibility, but it should be responsibility with authority, which you do not get. So screw that. Have your fun. Be the playboy seducer, right? That's one model. Some guys go down the Romeo, smooth Romeo line. Others go down more like the reckless, degenerate line. I was more the latter. I wasn't really a smooth Romeo, but I was a reckless something. Maybe not degenerate, but I was reckless. That's a good model for your 20s, late 20s, early 30s. Go do that model, okay? you're not going to be Mr. Romeo at like 45, in my opinion. Things are going to change at that point. So what are alternative models, you know, as you go through life? Other alternative models. Another alternative model is the pirate, yeah? The piratical traveller, yeah? The pirate on his mission. Going around the world, going around your country, doing whatever you're doing, that seat's wet. Going on your missions, yeah? Embarking on new shores and new adventures. You don't have to be a remote worker completely to do that. But you could just have, you know, some guys, they just have their motorbike and they go on their trips and stuff like this. You know, that's a good way of life, man. That's a good way of life. The pirate traveller. Yeah, that's the mode I'm in right now. And in that mode, of course, you've got experience. So in that mode, you know, you have your dalliances, you have your relation, but you're not in full-on player mode because you don't have the time, basically. As you get older, you're going to be more career-focused and more driven, and you're more aware of your own mortality, so you've got shit to do, basically. But you're living this pirate life, and you are going to have your relationships, you are going to have your dalliances. As I say, you know, you have a maiden in this port, a maiden in the other port. You may even find a fellow pirata, you know. That's a good model as well. It's a good model as well. The pirate life. Third model. This is the model that most guys are going to go down. I think it's probably the healthiest model for the broadest number of people, broadest number of guys in the modern world. It is find your partner in crime. Finding your partner in crime. Your girl's your partner in crime, okay? She could be a waitress, she could be a doctor, but she's your partner in crime. What that means is you're not there playing Mr. Supportive. She doesn't need that bullshit. She doesn't need a fucking babysitter. She's an adult woman who can handle her shit, right? Okay? You're handling your shit, she's handling her shit. And you go out and you meet up on Friday. You go have a wild time at the weekend together. You know, and these women work. These women work. And let me tell you why. That's a good thing. That's actually a good thing. Because let's say you take her out and you spend stuff, whatever, she actually understands that has value because she works. She knows how to do something other than spend money. So that's actually a good thing. If she does work. Yeah, and your partner in crime type of woman, you know, she's late 20s, early 30s typically. And she kind of gets it. Yeah, and as I say, it could be a waitress, could be a doctor. I'm actually thinking of two people of my own life. Great partners in crime. Fun, cool. Let's meet up. We're both busy. We both want to go and have fun. We want to go and do something. So I've got this partner in crime. In both those cases, those relationships in my life, they could have gone further after that partner in crime phase. They could have gone into the next phase. And I think you can build a life with someone like that. I'd still personally favor a slight like emphasis on the traditional role, so I'll probably pay a bit more. She'll probably do more domestic stuff, but that's fine. She's still going to work anyway. Maybe not as much as she might have alone, but she's still going to work, and she's going to kind of like, we kind of share the stuff, but I'll cover more expenses, she's going to cover domestic. That's how we're going to do things. Yeah, because I think otherwise you end up in the modern world, like, you're just going to end up having a spoiled woman, in my opinion. Like, how much effort does it actually take to maintain a house when you've got like, you might have a cleaner, you might have like, you've got fucking washing up machine, all that type of stuff. It doesn't actually take like a full-time job. So I'd say it's good if she still works like maybe 20 hours a week, something like that. That's your partner in crime model. That's by far and away the best model for most guys. It takes a cool woman to be involved in that. Which means, yeah, the girls I'm thinking of who are my partners in crime, I've got 3 that I can think of. Middle East, Brazil, Africa. Yeah, cool girls though, cool. Actually know the value of work. Yeah, actually know the value of like, life isn't a piece of piss. We need to hustle, but then we're gonna go and have fun. Not slow, boring idiots, complacent losers, which is what we've got in this country. I can't imagine who would want to be with girls like that, to be honest. Intolerable. Next up. I'd say like the fourth and final model. After the pirate model, if you don't go down the partner in crime, if you don't go down the pirate model or after the pirate model, then comes the ascetic. Okay? This definitely is something you're gonna do. Like, it's gonna be after 40 in my opinion. And that's where you kind of go, you have to have actually lived to do this. You can't just do this like and pretend you're being an ascetic. You actually have to have lived. Otherwise you're just someone who never really did anything. But the ascetic is, you kind of gone through it. You've done the dating, you've done the relationships, and you kind of gone, you know, what will be. I'm gonna live my life. I'm gonna go on my explorations, or I'm gonna move to a monastery, I'm gonna move up a mountain, or I'm gonna go spend 2 years diving, or whatever it is. And that's more of a lifestyle where you're just kind of like, or I'm gonna write my book or whatever. And that's actually a lifestyle where you're just like, I don't even give a fuck about relationships. I don't even care. I don't give a flying F. I don't even care about sex. I'm over even, obviously I don't have sexual desire, but like, I'm an ascetic. I can handle it, yeah? I don't think that's definitely not for everyone, but there are some benefits to that. One of the benefits is you don't get embroiled in kind of constant dramas of interpersonal dynamics. You kind of leave that behind, and then you focus in on your craft, you focus in on your exploration, you focus in on your mission to the Arctic, your mission across the savannah, your mission across the fucking jungle, your mission to learn XYZ, right? That ascetic lifestyle. There's definitely something to be said for that. And yeah, it's a model going into the future. I'd say where I've been the last couple of years is almost like a hybrid of the ascetic and the pirate. That's actually probably more accurate to say where I've been, because I can't leave it all behind. I just can't do it at the moment. But like last couple of years, I've seen some value in like, I don't have to chase everything. I can take a step back, focus on what I've got to do. Yes, I need pleasure and this type of thing, but I'm going to minimize it. I'm going to give myself the minimum viable doses of pleasure and relationships and so on. I still need it, but it's going to be de-emphasized because I'm going to be pursuing these other things. So yeah, that's how I've managed, to do some of my traveling, to, learn Portuguese, do other things. I've done a lot of other things these last few years. So that's my model at the moment. Maybe I go full ascetic mode. I feel maybe pirate mode is going to kick back in hardcore in the next few months. Those are some models that I think are healthy. So yeah, that's why I reject the two traditional models, which is doting, provider. Not viable in the West, in my opinion. If you want to be a provider, go to the developing world. It's a lot cheaper, and you have a lot more leeway, and it's going to take a lot less off you, basically. That's one other thing I wanted to say as well. If you're going to go down that route, you're better off going to the developing world, because you can actually have high quality for a reasonable investment, right? The developed world, it's like you get basically nothing back. You give everything and get basically nothing. It's a fucking shit deal. So yeah, provider in the West is bullshit. Overseas, it's actually more viable. Doting boyfriend to some careerist lunatic. Bullshit models. What you want is Playboy Romeo, wild degenerate. That's for when you're young. Partner in crime. Amazing model. Probably the best for men living in the West. The partner in crime. Find your partner in crime. And if they don't have that mentality, fuck them off. What was the third one? Third one was pirate, full on pirate mode. Fourth one was the ascetic. Okay, so those are models I think are good. Those are models I actually think are viable. Yeah. So hopefully that's been useful. Hope my explanations were not too laborious. I'm talking to my prior self here. I'm literally just summarizing like 15 years of my life. What's been a good use of my time, what's been a bad use of my time. I'm really looking at everybody knowing my life, and I'm vacuuming in all of that information and I'm putting it into this video for you. Yeah, because I've seen guys go down the provider route, which I think is bullshit in the UK, and I think it's a bullshit route, and I see what it takes out of them. It's way too much for way too little in return. I've seen them go down a few people I know, not friends of mine, the supportive boyfriend route. Give me a break. Give me a fucking break. Jesus Christ. Why don't you just go fucking castrate? Just get it over with. Just go castrate yourself. Get it over with. Go and be a eunuch. Those two routes are bullshit. Yeah. The other routes I've outlined, I've lived some of those routes. I've seen people living those routes. I think they're good routes. I've seen providers in the developing world. Good fucking route to go down. The partner in crime route, amazing route to go down. Pirate, ascetic, also good as well. I'm going to leave that video there for today. I'm going to do another video in a moment where I'm going to talk about nomad life. Yeah, nomad life, principles of nomadism, of digi-nomadism. I'm on fire today.